well, this is a special one because, the bond I share with this young man is second to none. We've been through so much together in life, and we're brothers, we're family, and welcome the one and only Luke Action Jackson to ringside with Tassie.
Hey, brother. How are you, my man? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm very good.
Thanks for having me on.
No, great to have you here, mate. And geez, where do we start, Luke? Where do we start, mate? What a journey it's been, and we're still here.
Yeah, a crazy journey. A lot of ups and downs on both sides.
Yep.
Sort of always been there for each other. But
yeah, we have.
I guess we start when we first met.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously our relationship. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, what about you starting off actually, in boxing? What led you to become, what you become today, which was an Olympian, a world title contender, the captain of the Australian team, mate. So, was boxing in your background as a kid, or tell me a bit about that, Luke?
Now, boxing was never something that was around when I was growing up. I remember, my childhood being very chaotic and no structure or routine there, and being in and out of different foster cares, and a lot of stuff happening. Then dropped out of school and started getting involved in drugs and stealing and doing the wrong thing. And thankfully, the boxing sort of just happened. I met a couple of guys that were boxing, and I thought I could fight a bit. So I thought, yeah, I could do this. So I went along to the gym, and it was a lot different than what I expected. It's a lot harder than what it looks. But I picked it up pretty quick. I had my first fight in 2002, June 22nd, 2002, at New Norfolk, a little place in Tasmania. I think you was the MC there, wasn't
I was the MC. How funny is that?
You was the MC.
I was the MC, and I did admit that night, they said it was your first fight, and I thought, nah, this kid's had probably at least 10 or 15.
Yeah, I remember you saying that to me after the fight.
Totally agree. I thought, geez, he looks too good to have won his first fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I done really well in my first fight, and then I kept fighting, and, yeah, man, I think we started sort of hanging out after the Commonwealth Games. I won a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games in Australia.
Yeah.
2006, and then...
Yeah, we knew each other before then, but then we really started hanging out just after then.
Back in the day, you were the man to get anyone in anywhere in Tasmania, Hobart or Launceston as well. So when I come back from the Commonwealth Games, obviously I was out celebrating a bit. I was a single man, so we had some fun, but we went to every club possible. There's lineups like you can't imagine to get in these places back in the day, and we'd just walk straight in. He's like, "Can Taz get me in? Can Taz get me in?" I say, "Yeah, but Taz will get you in." And just, I don't know how many people we got in. I think you got half of Claremont and Glenorchy in one night.
I remember that night also, but I think most of them were all banned, all barred for life, and like 2 or 3 at a time would go in and get a few in, and all of a sudden you had half of Claremont, Glenorchy, and the bouncer thing. And how did this happen?
Yeah, thank Taz for that.
I did have a knack with getting people in the clubs. I think most of the time I'd only get phone calls on a Saturday night. No one would call me during the week.
No, they just wanted to get you in the club.
I know, but that was
because you didn't drink. You was always sober and very respectful to the bouncers.
Yeah.
And they knew you. Obviously, you used to work as a bouncer.
Yeah.
So you wasn't like some dickhead off his head trying to say, get me made in, so, yeah.
That was some good time. Tassie was fun back then. Like, going out was actually fun.
Yeah, it was. It was, We ran amok.
We dress up. We wear the Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Jean-Pierre Gaultier, the old No. 2, yeah.
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 So good times.
That's it. So, obviously, so I think you started very fast in your amateur career. I mean, you only had like a few fights and you pretty much... won a national title, and then you're in the Australian team.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty much fast track, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took off pretty quick, and I won Yeah, for the Commonwealth trials, I had to fight a guy by the name of Glenn Grant that had beaten me before.
Yep.
So I fought him, then Mark Pavinsky, and then Paul Fleming.
Yep.
In the final. So I qualified for that. I won a bronze at the Commonwealth Games. Then after that, I had the Nationals in 2006 in Darwin. I fought Joel Brunker, beat him, and then Paul Fleming beat him.
Yep.
And then we had the Olympic trials, 2008. I beat Corey McConnell, Joel Brunker, and Paul Fleming in 3 days. Still didn't get boxer of the tournament. I don't know how.
How did you with them three?
Stevie Sullivan stopped a guy from Victoria in like 40 seconds or something. Got fighter of the tournament.
That's off its head.
But there. Then I went to Samoa for the Oceanas, and Paul was the B side. So we both had 2 fights, and then we met in the final. And unfortunately, I lost by 2 points to him in the final.
And you beat him 3 times prior, yeah?
Yeah. So it was a big shock.
Yeah.
I had to come back to Tasmania and regroup and start again. And but that's when everything come out about my mental health, and because a lot of people didn't know. You know, I speak to a lot of the boys that I was away on camp with, and they all thought that like I had like a normal functioning life outside of boxing.
Yeah.
But it couldn't be anything further from the truth. You know, I had a lot of struggles going on, and it turns out later on, after seeing specialists and that, I had severe OCD and a lot of childhood trauma and ADHD. So it all went unnoticed and unmedicated, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And it cost me the Beijing Olympics. I hate to say it, but it did, you know. And I had to come back, man. It was a long 4 years to wait. I had a lot of ups and downs. I had a stress fracture in my L5 in my back. I broke my hand. You know, a lot of ups and downs, Bella. But we got it done.
I remember that clearly, Luke, because, I mean, I remember there that just after you come back and you were a broken man. And we was at ISO bar and that's when we sort of teamed up, you know, and I said whatever I can do to help you get back, and we done a little amateur show in Tassie, and you bounced back with a good win, and then we went over to Canada for the Multi-Nations Cup.
Yeah, that was
which was a great trip. We talked about it last night. And
went to Canada, met some good boys over there. Then went to Vegas.
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah, Sugar Shane Mosey, Mayorga. And and then obviously we set our paths on the London Olympics, and I mean, then you had to make the 2:10 Delhi Commonwealth Games, but that was a big road back for you. 4 years, a long time, and to put all that behind you of the disappointment of Beijing is a credit to you, because I mean you did it. I mean 4 years later, I remember when you finally got your hand raised in Tassie at the finals of the Nationals, and you're beating guys like George Gambosis to get there, and Joe Alexander, and you know, just that picture of you with the arm raised. It was like you're on your way to the London Games.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, you know, like I trained so hard for that, and it's all I thought about, Taz. I used to say in my head, I'd go outside and eat a teaspoon of dog shit every single day, and with a smile on my face, if that meant that I could go to the Olympic Games.
Yep.
I was obsessed with it. I used to pray hundreds of times a day, say a little prayer in my head, "Dear Lord, let me make the Olympic Games," and I'd die 2 weeks later. Like I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, I remember.
And then when I qualified, I was captain of the team, and I was boxing really well. Like before, you know, at the World Championships the year before, I thought I'd beaten the Cuban.
Toledo.
I lost on a countback. He ended up winning bronze medal at the Olympics. Was world champion in a different weight class as well. I'd beaten Han Sun Chu from Korea. He won the silver medal at the Olympics.
Just to Loma, yeah?
Yeah, lost to Loma. So I've beaten all these guys, and I was very confident going in. And I remember I was sparring back at the AOS, and I was sparring the likes of Daniel Lewis, which is a couple of weight divisions above me, and I was on fire, you know. And then I got really sick, and I don't know what happened. I don't think I recovered, and then went to Belfast, and I don't know. It just wasn't sparring good, and then we had the Olympics, and I fought a guy from China.
Yeah, big, tall,
lanky southpaw. And I didn't really mind them because I've fought in Thomas Stalker, I've fought in heaps of southpaws, Paul Fleming. But yeah, I don't think it mattered who I fought that day. I was just very flat, and just a fucking nightmare to have that performance on the world stage, on everything that I put into. So obviously after that, I was very flat. And this is a thing about sport with boxing. Boxing in Australia, you got a guy that dedicated fucking his life to become an Olympic boxer and lose his first fight. And the first thing that the coaches that said to me was, are you going to be okay to be captain for the rest of the team, or do you want us to give the captaincy to someone else because you're obviously upset about losing?
Wow.
I'm just like, fuck no. I said, I can do this. So I had to bury my emotions and be there for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
We had a good Olympics. Jeff Horn got to nearly the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Ibi Bala won a couple of fights. So
Jai Patel.
So the boys done well, but I had to bury all the emotions.
Yeah.
And then I had to come back to Australia, and I was going to retire after the Olympics.
I remember.
I had a girlfriend at the time. But then I was like, fuck. I knew when I got out of the ring that it wasn't going to be it,
Yeah.
And then I got home, and then me and the girl at the time split up. So that's when all this fucking shit started.
Yeah.
I used to go around to my mate's house all the time, and they'd be doing coke, and they'd pass the plate round to each other, but they wouldn't even dare pass it to me because they knew that I'd fucking probably throw it in their face.
100%.
And then one day I was just there, and I'd lost my missus of like 5 years or so. I was heartbroken. And I'd just lost at the Olympics. I'm like, what the fuck is next? And I just grabbed the plate and had a line, and then I'm like, fuck, that feels good. That's fucking amazing, but it's fake. And that's when, from 2013 until 2021, I pretty much just abused cocaine in between my fights. So not when I was fighting. So I'd have 3 months off it. So I'd go on benders for days and days and days, as you know now. And then
I didn't know a lot early days though. Being your assistant coach with Billy Hussein, I didn't know you kept a lot of things from me.
Of course I did, because I didn't want to let you down.
That's right.
But I'd go on benders for days, and then I'd sort of get a fight, and I could just turn it like a light switch.
Yeah, you did.
And I'd fucking just be relentless with my pursuit to be the best version of myself.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I was sort of looking forward to after the fight to get on a bender. So as soon as the fight was over, I'd have everything ready. I'd be back at my house or wherever I was, and I'd just be fucking launching myself into a 2-3 day bender.
Yeah.
With fucking majority of the time people I don't even know.
I know.
And yeah, but it took its toll, and my mental health was going down, and I had severe OCD, I had depression and ADHD and childhood trauma, and then I'm fucking abusing myself with cocaine.
Yeah.
Of course your mental health's going to go downhill,
I remember guys that were actually bums would be coming up to me going, oh, yeah, was at Jacko's house on the weekend? I'm thinking, no, you wasn't. What the fuck would you be at Jacko's house? You're a bum. And I didn't know none of this shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
yeah, man, you fake happiness, fake friends, and it's something that I had to go through. And that's the old me now. That's the old version of me. I'm over 3 years sober now.
It's great you can talk about it, because it does. I'm sure there's people out there that will get a lot from it. The fact that you were in them places, but you did come out the other end.
Yeah,
it's not forever.
People make mistakes.
We all do, mate.
I'm far from perfect.
Same, mate. Same.
And I've made many mistakes, and some of the mistakes that I've made in the past, I'm still dealing with.
Yeah.
But I've worked really hard to turn my life around. Some things I'm not proud of that I've done in the past, but it is what it is. I can't look there no more. I've got to be here, and I just got to continue to be the best version of myself and help people. You know, I've never stole off anyone. I've never physically hurt anyone.
No.
I've never raped any women.
No.
I haven't hurt any children. The majority of the time that I've done something, it's just been, you know, out of the greed to try and get drugs or
Yeah.
something like that. Like, you know, like it's never been to hurt anyone.
No.
Majority of the time it's hurting myself.
100%. Yeah, I'm
You
going
know?
to say that. Yeah.
And, you know, it is what it is. I'm here now, so I just got to look forward to. I want to be a dad, you know, and I just want to be there for my kids, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even a dad, but like just talking about being a dad
Oh,
makes me want to fucking.
You'd be a great dad, mate.
Yeah, I just want to be a good dad, man. Just be there all the time for my kids, and that's it.
So let's talk about your pro career. So you've missed out the Olympics. The pro game wasn't really a thought for you, but when you decided on it, I believe I spoke to Mike Altamora, who became your manager, and then you know, linked up with the great Billy Hussein and myself, and we made a plan, and Adam Wilcox as promoter to steer forward and to start your pro career.
Yeah, look, when my girlfriend left me and I started doing drugs and stuff, I was like, fuck, I need to do something. What saved me my whole life is boxing. So
Yeah.
it was either go for Rio Olympics or turn pro. And, you know, I was never going to turn pro. It sort of was like, oh, fuck 'em. But then I'm like, okay, here we go. And I, you know, joined the team with Billy Hussein. And, you know, I flew my first training camp. I flew up to Sydney and I was staying at Sleepy Express.
I remember it well, Cholula.
Fucking hell, Sleepy
Cholula.
Express, right? And
Red Rooster.
fuck me, Dad. That was,
Nice part of the world.
oh my God. So I remember walking around, I was speaking to a good friend of mine, Jake Gilly at the time, because I was going through a breakup and he was
Yeah.
sort of helping me. And I remember saying to myself when I'm walking around, I go, like, if I get through this, because there's a big if, like I'm struggling so bad, like
Yeah.
I literally thought about killing myself. If I get through this, nothing will ever break me.
Yeah.
And I got through it.
Yeah.
And I remember, because I was still trying to make it work with this girl, and like I remember the day of the fight, my pro debut, I'm like, oh, you know, I didn't hear from her. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's definitely over. And I went out and got the win, and then when I landed back in Tassie, I'm just like, yeah, it's done now. Like, you can move on, and that's it. And I just let her be and didn't try to rekindle it again. And, you know, it turns out that I've got a better girlfriend now, so
Yeah.
things happen for a reason.
It sure does, mate. So, obviously, yeah, so you had a few fights under your belt. You were adjusting to the pro game, which was a big adjustment because you were amateur for many years, and
Yeah.
it is different, you know, the style, the scoring, everything, you know what I mean? But,
Yeah, and let's not forget, I lived in Tasmania, so I'd come up here and I'd come up for 4 weeks at a time.
Yeah,
There's only so much you can learn in 4 weeks.
that's right.
I believe you got to be with your professional coach all year round.
Yeah,
Even when you haven't got fights coming up, you got to
Yeah,
be in the gym with them.
in the gym,
And
yeah.
even though I was in the gym in Tassie, I was playing up. You know, I was playing up outside of it. You know, and I respected Billy Hussein a lot, and I wouldn't have. I believe he would have. I believe if I was in the same state, it probably wouldn't have happened as much.
Yeah.
But that's my fault.
Yeah.
And look, it is what it is. That's what's happened, and the past is a past. But we it slowly got worse over the years. Like at the start, it was controllable. You know, we went up and we fought. We were young, and I
Yeah,
fought well
won
up
your
there,
first Australian title.
won the Australian title. Then we had a regional title. I remember fighting John Mark Alapiano for the WBA Oceania title, and I don't remember anything of the fight. I was having like anxiety attacks and panic attacks.
In
and
Tasmania?
yeah.
That was a great fight.
And I couldn't breathe.
At
I was
City
going,
Hall. Yeah.
like for weeks I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember when the bell rang, Billy comes up. He's like so happy because I boxed so well.
He
and
did.
And I said to Billy, I said, I can't breathe. Like I'm struggling so bad. Like I don't know how I done that. And like the look in Billy's eyes, he sort of changed straight away. And like, you know, I still do have a lot of respect for Billy Hussein, but
Of course.
like when I was training with him, like I looked at that guy like a god.
Yeah.
You know, like I was, you know, he just, like I could speak to him on the phone and he just sort of make me feel better.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just a weird feeling.
I think most of his fighters do look at him like that. He has that relationship, and even for me now, he's still a mentor. He's got
like,
that.
I could be in the worst state of mind and speak to Billy Hussein on the phone, and I'd just instantly feel better. He had that power.
Yeah.
And when I was fighting, I could hear everything he was saying.
Yeah.
It was like I just do everything he said.
I always said it was like he's had a special headpiece together where he was. You could hear everything he could say. It wouldn't matter how many people in the crowd. I always said that about you guys. That very.
Yeah, I trusted him.
Yeah.
I trusted him with my life, you know, and I still remember the first time he said it to me. We got into the ring, and it took a couple of fights, you know, because obviously we're new to each other. But when he goes, "I love you," and give me a cuddle before I went out to the ring, and I just felt so safe.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
And your fighter's got to feel safe.
You got to.
A fighter,
corner.
and I remember that from what he said to me. Now I do that with my fighters.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give them a cuddle and I tell them I love them before they go out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's very important. You got to make them. They got to have that trust in you. And I trusted that man with my life, you know. And we went on and we won the Oceania title, then we won the Oriental title against Sylvester Lopez.
Yeah, that was down at the War on the Wharf.
Yeah, and then we won. We went for the world title against Carl Frampton in Belfast.
Belfast, yeah.
Like a big night.
In front of 30-odd thousand Irish. Tyson Fury was on your undercard.
Yeah.
Tell me.
It's a hard win though, isn't it? It's a hard one to get.
Yeah.
Frampton at the time was a monster.
Frampton was a two-division world champion and a very, very good fighter. Very, very smart boxer. Measured great distance. And it was a tough ask for you, but you went over there. You had a great training camp. You went over there to win.
Yeah, went over there to win, you know, and I don't know, like me as a amateur fighter compared to when I was a professional fighter, I watched interviews when I first turned pro, and I still was the same mentality as when I was amateur, but slowly but surely the drug abuse slowly broke me down and fucked my confidence.
Yeah.
You know, I see interviews of when I was, but like, I was a man as an amateur. I beat everyone. You name them, I beat them.
You went undefeated in Australia for like near 4 years or something, or longer.
Longer, but like longer.
Give me some of the names. Obviously, you mentioned a few before, but
So I've beaten Paul Fleming, Joel Brunker, Mark Pavinsky, Brennan Ogilvie, Valentin Borg, Mark Pavinsky. Did I say him already?
Yeah. George Gambosis.
George Gambosis. How could I forget Georgie? Joe Alexander.
Some of the best around. Corey McConnell. Yeah.
Corey McConnell.
Good fighters.
Fuck it. You name them.
Yeah.
Anyone in Australia that's done something as a professional, I beat them all.
And what about them guys? You bet a couple of big names at the Commonwealth Games.
Nicholas
Waters and Sharif Bulgari.
Yeah, I fought Sharif.
Two very good fighters, good pros. You fought great fighters like Thomas Stalker.
Yeah, great fighter.
You know, the Cuban that you said, obviously, you know, you're very unlucky not to beat. The Korean that got silver to Loma. I mean, yeah, you fought them all.
Yeah, and I my mindset was different, bro, you know? And maybe that's what I'd like to tell all the young athletes out there, and you know, stay away from drugs. If you want to go and have a beer with your mates after a fight, be it, but stay the fuck away from drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs.
Amen to that.
Drugs will destroy bigger, harder, stronger men than me and you put together.
Done it to the biggest ever.
You know, and I've made many mistakes in my past. But, you know, that's not me anymore. So, you know, a lot of my family members have struggled with drugs, and my mother, may she rest in peace, struggled with drugs, and it was something that I grew up around. So, unfortunately, I fell into that same trap. And, you know, them days are behind me now, so.
Explain how harder it is, you know, as an athlete, especially in boxing, coming from Tasmania, something that I know a bit about. Like, you know, it is a sort of, you know, you are behind the eight ball. There's not as much sparring. There's not as many tournaments. Explain how, like, it is. Anyone that makes it from Tassie, I think, deserves an extra pat on the back, because it is tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very tough. And, no one did it for me. I had to do it for myself, So I had a gym in my dad's backyard.
Yep, remember it well.
And, I can't stand the fact that kids these days, or even men and women, that they say they want to do something, but they don't show that with their actions.
Yeah.
Like, I said I wanted to be an Olympic boxer, so what did I do? I fucking didn't care about work. They say, this. I said, well, fuck it, who cares?
Yeah.
I'll move to Canberra.
Yeah.
I got a scholarship at the AOS, and people say, oh, you got a scholarship? Yeah, because I earned it.
Yeah, you won
I won
fights.
the national title.
Yeah.
So, only having like fucking 11 fights or something. So
Yeah.
if I can do it, you can do it. You just got to really fucking do it.
Mm.
And then I got a scholarship. I lived at AS for fucking on and off for 5 years. And I didn't work. I didn't have any money.
No.
But I didn't care. I wanted to be an Olympic boxer. So that's what mattered more. Whereas these days, some people want it, but they don't really want it. And I used to listen to Eric Thomas all the time. If you want it as bad as you're going to breathe, you'll get it.
Remember.
And, I used to listen to this guy all the time. And he's one of the people that helped motivate me to qualify for the Olympics, And if you do want it, if you really want it, like you fucking really, really want it, you'll get it done.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you'll either find an excuse that you have to say about this and that, or it won't happen. And I was a different man when I turned pro. I was a different person. I think I used a lot of my energy to qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And there's only so much a person can give. And plus the lifestyle I was living played its toll, And just like, fucking pro boxing, it's a shonky business.
I tell a lot of young fighters now and they're amateurs and they're saying they turn on pro, and I said, listen, it's not all beers and skittles. I said, if you don't have like a pretty good name as an amateur, like AKA represent Australia or medal at an international tournament, you're turning pro for shit money. You got to sell tickets and tables to be on the show. As you know, Jack, it's not all.
So let me
what people think about.
So even if you do turn pro I was one of the most decorated amateurs.
Yeah.
I was two-time Commonwealth Games rep, medalist at one.
Yeah.
Commonwealth Olympian, captain. Olympian. I missed out on the Beijing Olympics. So two-time Commonwealth Games rep, Olympic captain.
Two-time World Championship rep.
Two-time World Championship rep, many Australian titles, and I'm still getting shit money.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I made more money on your shows in Tasmania, right? The last one that we done down there, I made probably 30 grand, right? With ticket sales and stuff.
Yep.
My fight on No Limit show on Fox Sports, main event.
Yep.
So a lot of people bought that main event from Tassie because I was on that as well.
That's right.
I sold between the two shows on No Limits that I had, one at Bankwest Stadium, one at Hordern Pavilion.
Yep.
Between the two, roughly around $85,000 to $90,000 worth of tickets I sold.
Yep.
The first fight they paid me $6,000.
I remember.
The second fight they paid me $5,000 and they give me a $3,000 bonus. So it's $8,000 there and $6,000 the first time.
Yep.
You sell tickets, you got a good name, you should get paid shit.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's true,
You
yeah.
know, so
and your training camp costs more than that.
thank God that G'd Up sponsored me and fucking
Yeah, shout out to G'd Up boys.
So like even if you do have all that, you need, I don't know what the fuck you need, and I'm a little bit dirty on the whole thing because like I know some people like that I spoke to, and I won't mention names, but like some of the money that they got paid for fights, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, what went wrong?
Yeah.
Like what did I do wrong? Like what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And maybe that's God saying, well, if we did give you the money, you'd probably put it all up your nose and fucking kill yourself anyway. So maybe that's God looking out for me. I don't know what it is, but, you know, and then having to fucking work and, you know, it's really hard, but it is what it is, but we can whinge about it or we can just get on with it.
Well, definitely any young kids that want to get in the boxing for money, don't make that the reason. Do it for your love, do it for your passion, do it to represent your country, but don't.
Many fights I fought for free.
Yeah,
Didn't get paid.
I know.
Did
Yeah,
not get paid a
I
cent.
know.
Didn't get paid a cent.
Crazy. We did do some good shows back in Tassie, didn't we?
Yeah, I always got paid good there.
We definitely raised the bar. Got Tassie boxing back after a few years, probably of it being a bit low, and I guess once I sort of finished up, you was the man to take over, and to build it back up.
Very blessed to have the support of everyone in Tasmania that has supported me over the years. I've changed a lot as a man over the last. I've changed since yesterday. Yeah, I'm always trying to change, and become a better man, and I try not to look too much on the negative anymore. Even though I am wired that way. So
me too.
You can get 100 people supporting you and one person being negative, and you focus on the negative.
So true.
I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to be grateful that I've got the support of so many people in Tasmania. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've had a hard life at times. I've made it hard for myself at times. But at the end of the day, I've got a good heart. And
you do.
If I have made mistakes, then I'll put my hand up and take it on the chin, and that's that. But I'm not one to throw rocks at people, but I just wish everyone well, man. Whether you like me or you don't, I hope everyone's doing well and they're all good. Yeah,
I always say, Luke, and until someone walks in your shoes, they've got no real right to judge. They don't know what it's like to be in Luke Jackson's shoes. They don't know what it's like to be in Tassie Brown's shoes. Unless you have to walk in those shoes, you can't, because you don't know what it's like. So people shouldn't judge. But the thing is, like I said about Anthony Mundine before, yourself, Luke, you've done a lot of good things for people. You've done a lot of charity. You're the first person to sign a pair of gloves. You're the first person to make an appearance at a school. You're the first person to go visit, a sick kid. I don't know if people know this about you. You've done a lot. You give your time pretty freely. If anyone, I've never heard you knock back anyone. Even you pay your own way to go there back to Tassie to do these sort of things. So that's a big testament of who you are, your character, and your heart.
Yeah, I love helping people. I think that's my purpose in life. I like to help and give back, and I'll give you my shirt off my back.
Yeah,
I've got. For instance, I've got so many gloves at home and wraps and get brand new wraps and all the time, and then I just end up giving them away to people that need them, and then when it's time to use wraps for myself, I've got none. And the missus always at me, like, why are you giving them away? You got none for yourself now. I'm just like, I don't know. But if I got $10, I'll give you half of it. It's just who I am. I want to help people. I've been doing a lot of work with a place called Youth in Search, where kids that have suffered heavy trauma, and we go away for a 2-day camp where the phones are locked in the locker.
That's a good thing.
We sit around a table and we talk, and kids try and express their emotions and the trauma they've been through, and I just try to help them and explain. The best thing you can do is sort of train. They're trying to help them with all these different things, and I agree with it, but one thing that they're missing is the training.
Yeah.
They've got to get these kids up and moving and training and for their mental health, and keep them away from drugs and alcohol and all this sorts of stuff. So, I'd like to do more of that work.
Something that you would have heard me speak about before, I've told anyone that will listen, I think you would make the best coach, the best, someone like yourself should be the Australian coach, because your boxing brain and IQ, which I know something about because I've got a decent one as well, as you know, especially in the amateur system where you are so good at your international trips, your experiences, someone like you, I think you're destined to be, our next great Australian coach.
Yeah, look, I'd love to. It's funny. I've done all my courses here in New South Wales to become a state coach and all that, and every time they've got a expression of interest, like for coaches to go to. I mean, these are the ones that I've applied for so far. There was a team that was going to New Zealand. I put my hand up to apply for it. I got knocked back. Put my hand up to apply for a trip to WA.
Yep.
I got knocked back. Mm-hmm. I put my hand up to go as a coach to Adelaide. I got knocked back. Just had one in Canberra. My boy Marlon that I train is up there for a 3-day development camp.
Yep.
They wanted a coach from New South Wales to go with the team. I put my hand up and I got knocked back. It's just like, no disrespect to the coaches that they're sending, good on them, but like, has any of them ever fucking done anything?
They should be begging you.
And I'm just
that annoys me.
That's 5 times now I've put my hand up and not even a fucking reply to tell me why I can't go.
And that's what's wrong with Australian boxing, and that's why.
And not only do I know how to fight and done it and been there and done it
at the highest level,
I can relate to these kids a lot.
That's right.
And a lot of the kids just need love, fella, and make them believe in themselves.
Yeah.
I've been to numerous camps and just watching the coaches, and some of the coaches just like taking the piss out of the athletes. Like, it's like, oh, look, he can't even do that, can't even do it. I'm just like, well, why don't you show him how to fucking do it?
Yeah.
Instead of pointing at people and making fun of them.
And the thing is, like, you wasn't always the captain. You at one stage you was the new kid in the team.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like to start off, a fresh face, new, first time going to this country.
When I first started, like Jared Fletcher, Jared O'Mahony,
Todd Kidd,
these guys were like,
they were the
fucking superstars.
They were the goats. Yeah.
So look, I'd like to be involved in it, but like, you can only put your hand up and.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, I'd like to see you in that position personally, because I just know what you got to offer, and it's not rocket science. I'm not saying it because I'm one of your best mates. Like, mate, how many countries have you competed in?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Roughly 40?
Yeah.
Yep. So 40 odd countries, you've seen every style, you've fought.
I've had more international fights than I have national fights.
And like I say, Luke, you fought Cubans in Cuba, you fought Russians in Russia. People don't understand what it takes. You Kazakhstan, you Pakistan, Azerbaijan, you've been against all these.
Yeah, it's hard to go overseas and fight, man.
Yeah, and sometimes you're away for 3-4 months at a time.
Yeah.
You know? And not just competing, competition sparring against
training.
Ukraine, Russia.
I remember it was in Hungary and I fought there and I won a fight, and then the next day I lost the fight and my nose got broken, was splattered, and then I had comp sparring the next day. There's like 4 of us in the ring and just getting me head pumped. And I'm just like walking around thinking, fuck, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I was only a young kid, man.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes.
That's it. Explain to me a bit, I know you've always mentioned how much Coach Bodo Andreas, the Australian national coach, played a big part in shaping you as a man and a fighter.
Yeah, without Coach Bodo, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I was a young, rebellious kid that, rocked up at the AOS in 2005. And he sort of, I don't want to use the word groomed because it sounds like pedophilia.
We'll keep it in a positive way.
Yeah, like he moulded me into the man I am today with my dedication, my structure, so when I'm in the gym training, despite all the drug abuse or whatever, when I'm in the gym training, if someone talks to me when I'm training, I'll tell them, like if I'm preparing for a fight, it's like, stay the fuck away from me. Like, I'm relentless. You've seen how I train. Like, I don't take, like, I'm starting before the bell goes and I'm finishing after the bell goes. Like, I'm relentless in my pursuit to train.
You're one of the best guys to train ever.
And I've got no time for people that are fucking around. So, like, if we're sparring and, I've had so many concussions sparring, so I try to look out for my athletes now that don't. But you got to spar hard sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You got to put it on them.
That's the only way I know.
And, far out. We done Coach Bodo, we done a lot of training and he took me around the world, man. So I got a lot of time for him. We butted heads a bit, but
Yeah.
in the end there was respect there. Recently I went up to Canberra because I'm doing a documentary with Michael Condon, a good friend of mine.
Michael's a great,
He's a
great
legend.
man,
He's
good
a
at what he
man.
does.
The best. So,
Unbelievable.
I was lucky enough to meet Mick outside PCYC, and I knew his work that he'd done. So then I asked him if he'd do some for me, and the guy's second to none. Like,
Yeah.
so we just started doing photos, and I seen some video that he was doing for Daryl Foley, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
fuck, that looks
Super
mental.
Foley, yeah.
So yeah, speaking of Foley, he just had a fight he lost, unfortunately.
Oh, in Ireland?
Yeah.
Okay.
On points, he's a warrior.
Yeah, good
Love
guy, Dara.
Dara.
Yeah, we brought him to
guy.
Tassie. Good guy.
Yeah, so Mick's been doing a documentary on. So we went and filmed all my family, all my close friends, my girlfriend, myself, obviously, and we went to Canberra. So I wanted to interview
Coach
Bodo.
Yeah,
So that
awesome.
was so Mick's met Coach Bodo, and just a good guy.
Did he say you're busted?
Yeah,
Jacko, you're
yeah.
busted.
Yeah, and he's honest, Bella. So like, I don't know what's going to be on there, but I'm excited to see it. Speaking of that, the doco's called Damage,
Yep.
and
Can't wait.
Keep an eye out for it because it's going to be out soon, and it's going to be an emotional day watching that. Wherever we do and however we do it. But
No, I look forward to it, mate. Definitely have to keep an eye out for that.
Damage.
Bit of that done. So, Luke, obviously, you had an amazing boxing career, amateur and professional. It's probably an easy one, but just pick out a few highlights. Obviously, we know they're the big games and world title, but pick out a few highlights that people don't know. Maybe some medals at tournaments that people don't aware of. Like, what's some of the the real highlights along the journey?
Yeah, obviously qualifying for the Olympics was hands down the best experience of my life. Fighting Carl Frampton for the world title. A lot of tournaments, around Europe that I boxed well in. I didn't manage to get the golds, but I got so many fucking silvers. There was one in Serbia. I fought four times in 4 days, and I lost in the final. Got the silver medal, but
What country?
Serbia.
To the Serbian?
Nah, I lost to a I think he was from France.
Okay.
But yeah, just good memories. That was a good one. Finland, boxed many times in Finland.
Yeah, is that the
Norway.
Tampa Cup?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, Tampa. Yeah.
And the Helsinki Cup.
Yep.
But yeah, man, just the whole process of it has just been an amazing journey. I've met a lot of great people, and boxing's a beautiful sport filled with amazing people and some fucking dirtbags as well.
Yeah, there's a few of them around there.
The good thing that I like about the amateur system is you rock up to the weigh-in, your name gets put in a hat, they pull your name out and you fight them. End of story. Professionals, at times you fight people you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
You want to fight better opposition.
Yeah.
You're fighting fucking guys from Thailand. You break your hand on their heads, and then just put you behind. But it's a process to get to the top, whereas the public don't see that. So you cop a lot of criticism for it. The fighter wants to fight the best in the world, straight up.
But there's a process, and
There's a process, and you got
management, trainer.
And if I could do it again, I'd do it a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I can't. So my goal is to help the next lot do it a little bit different, not make the same mistakes I did. People always say, how do we get sponsors and that? I say, fucked if I know. Just
go get them.
It's hard, mate. It's very
Tell them
hard.
to come see me. I'll teach them how to
teach
do a few things. Do you agree that winning the Olympic gold medal was tougher than winning the world title in the professionals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're fighting
hands down.
the best of the best in each country, who's all had probably 300 odd amateur fights, where the pro game, you can manipulate the rank ratings, you can feed
people that
Pager records.
People that are tight with the federations will just pay money
Yeah.
to get them ranked, get the fighters ranked. They'll pay the sanction fees. So there we go, there's 10 grand, get my boy ranked. It's like, can't do that in amateurs, you know.
You're fighting Cubans and Russians, you're not fighting Thais, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some Thais can fight. And like,
Yeah,
the
some
thing
can,
was,
obviously.
like, I've had some horrendous fights against guys that should have been an easy night for me,
Yeah.
you know, because just overlooking them, get hit with a shot, 8-ounce gloves.
Yep.
It's just like, oh, it's ugly, you know. Break your hand on the head and you got one hand to fucking get through the fight.
Yep.
So sometimes it's harder than what it looks. But, you know, overall, I've done more in my career than I ever anticipated. You know, it's been a long career. My last fight was last year.
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance, and I think that's it, you know. Billy Dibb has asked me to fight numerous times. Very respectful.
Yeah, we just had him
always,
on before.
Always
yeah.
come and said, you know, do you want to make some money and try and get a fight? And I said, yeah. And then he got sick. Then he come to me again afterwards, and I said, look, I don't really want to, Billy. Like, the only one fight I'm interested in was Lantry, so unless it's that, then I'm not going to bother.
Yep.
And then I got the Lantry. Then Billy asked me again. I said, oh, yeah, how much? And then the money I wasn't really happy with, which you know about.
Yep.
And then he's come to me recently, asked about an exhibition.
Yep.
So it's not a fight. It's like a sparring match.
Yeah.
Use 14-ounce gloves.
Yep.
And we'll get paid. And I might actually get paid more than what I did from No Limits.
That's crazy.
How's that make sense? So I'm getting paid more from a local show in Wollongong that is raising funds for children on a charity fight night. I'm getting paid more
it's ridiculous.
to do an exhibition. I don't have to train if I don't want to.
No.
Obviously I will because I train every day.
Yeah.
I don't have to sell tickets and I'm getting paid more than what I got paid from No Limits.
It's insane. Yeah, not right. Just in touch on that before we finish up, it was a great way to go out. I was honoured to be in the corner with you for your last dance against Tyson Lantry. You boxed beautifully that night. You looked like you turned the clock back. Yeah.
Angelo Hyder needs to take a lot of...
Yeah, it was a great training camp you had with him.
You know, he really is one of the best coaches I've ever
I've always said Angelo's one of the best coaches in Australia.
Yeah, remember I asked you, I said, what do you think? You said, great idea.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Because I always ask you feedback, what you think. But like Angelo Hyder, just, I don't know. I really like a vocal coach. Yeah. That's why I got along well with Billy. When I was sparring, Billy would always talk.
Yeah.
And Angelo was the same.
100%.
You know, and very similar in their styles.
Yeah. Well, they sort of both come up under Fennec really at the same time.
Yeah.
Dave Birchall,
Angelo
Hyder, Billy was saying they all come up under Jeff.
Yeah.
And then they've all got their own styles now. They've got their own touches.
And it was one of the best camps I've ever had.
Yep.
And I put the work in. But like I've been putting, because I thought that fight was coming, so I was working overtime for that, you know, and that's the only thing that I was worried about, was beating him.
But you box amazingly. You really, I mean, you done what you should have done. You showed your class above him, and that's the thing.
People always talk about the first fight. I thought I did just edge that.
Yeah, I did too.
And I don't know. This was why I was confident in the rematch. I don't know how he did knock me out.
It was the worst version of you ever.
I was fucked below.
I know.
I was fucked, and that's how people can sit there and say they're going to do something, but I know how the fuck I got through 6 rounds.
Yeah, I know.
I got no idea because I had no energy below. It was like the worst version of me. And I said it at the press conference. I've only got to be 10% better, and I'll beat this guy.
You did
easy, and I was more than that.
Yeah. No,
but I like Tyson. I had a bit of a grudge against him and Jamie Pittman and all that because just the funds they asked. They asked you tell the story. Yeah,
well, I mean, I love Jamie. He was my former Australian teammate and we'll go way back. But I wanted that rematch and I wanted to put it on in Tasmania. and they sent me a message saying ridiculous, like 20 grand. And I'm thinking, fuck, you're not worth 20 grand. And that's not even, no one's paying 20 grand in Australia. And then they wanted something like 10 up front, like a months in advance, and the rest of it the night before the fight. And I'm thinking, no one does this deal. I've got it in me messages. You know, I'm not lying. And I think,
when we do, put it up.
Yeah, and I think, like, who are you, Mike Tyson? And I got turned off massively because of that. It was
so I was fucking dirty on that, and I held a lot of grudges.
Yeah.
And then even after the fight, instead of being happy, I was burning. It's like it wasn't enough. I needed more. But then I just recently seen Tyson in Adelaide.
Yeah.
And shook his hand and said hello and sort of left it at that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it got to their heads, man. They thought they were someone they're not. They're really just good fighter, but really more of a glorified journeyman, really.
Yeah, had his
no
time
disrespect, but
had his time in his claim to fame was beating me, and
then got a fight against Paul Fleming and got beat.
Bashed, yeah. And like the thing with me is, I wanted a 10-rounder.
Yeah, I know.
If I had a 10 rounds, I would have stopped.
But No Limit wouldn't give it to you.
I would have stopped. And that's the thing, No Limit wouldn't give it to me. No. I said I'd fucking sell tickets. I'd said I'd do all this stuff, and they wouldn't do it for me. But then the next fucking, after I beat Lantry, so for the first fight, I asked for a regional belt or Australasian belt, 8 rounds or 10. They wouldn't do it to me.
No.
Then after that, they do it for Paul Fleming and Lantry. 10-rounder, WBA Oceania. Right? Then I fight Lantry the second time. I said, let's do it for a fucking regional bill or something, and I'll sell tickets. They wouldn't do it. The next fucking fight, they're going to match Nathaniel May and Lantry for a 10-rounder for a fucking regional bill.
Yeah.
So whatever I've done to the No Limit boys, I don't know, but the fucking, like, I sell more than any of these guys.
Yeah.
I sold more than Fleming, Lantry, fucking Nathaniel May, and put together.
Yeah,
I've sold the tickets for them. At least do something for me. But they didn't, and I don't know why. And then they ring me like a couple like, in 3 weeks you want to fight Sam Goodman at 57.
Yeah, fight Liam Wilson.
Fucking, please, fella.
Yeah, I'd have had the phone calls, I know.
Fucking does my head in, fella.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I've done to them, or someone's done something to them that they're like, I could have really done well with them as my promoter, working as a team, not trying to fucking work against me.
Yeah. Because
I was working, like, I sold well for them, Bella.
100%.
And the records are there.
Yeah. Records don't lie, mate.
My mate Anthony, he brought like 5 ringside tickets for like $2,000 a pop, $2,500 a pop or something for the first fight at Bankwest Stadium. And the last fight, I sold fucking heaps of
everyone was
tickets.
there, yeah.
Heaps of tickets, bro.
But anyway,
I don't know what it is. But
you went out like the way you should have, Luke. You boxed great, and that's the way that I like to remember our journey together. Was walking out that ring with a W, smiles on our faces. And that's the way that I'll always remember your career, and what a great career. And thanks for having me part of your career. It was a great journey to say that
always felt better when you was there, Bella.
Yeah.
Always felt safe.
Yep.
Just a familiarity.
Yeah.
Boxing's a tough sport. You're going to war, so you need good people around you.
You do.
Feel safe. And if you feel safe and prepared, then it's up to God then, isn't it?
That's it, brother. Before we finish, mate, just do a quick little word pronunciation, or whatever I say. You have to say the first thing that comes into your head.
Done.
Costa Zoo.
Favourite fighter?
Manny Pacquiao.
Machine.
Southpaw or Orthodox?
Orthodox.
Private joke. Roy Jones Jr.
Y'all must have forgot.
Vasily Lomachenko.
Greatest amateur of all time.
Oscar De La Hoya.
Left hook, left rip, left uppercut.
That's a good one. Mike Tyson.
A bad man.
And Felix Trinidad.
Tito with his left hook. Unbelievable fighter.
Beautiful. Awesome to have you on, Luke. As I said, mate, those that don't know, if they sleep under a rock. You know, we've been brothers and family members for many years. It's been honoured to obviously be part of your crew as well as a bonus. But one day, mate, hopefully we're old men with our kids running around with our little couple of ready to ringer fucking pale white Tasmanians.
Yeah. Punching
on, brother. But
I love you, mate.
Love you, brother.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure.
I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Send my love to your mum.
I will.
Beautiful mum she is.
Yeah, she's the best, mate. She's the true goat.
She's a rock star, mate.
Unbelievable.
She's done a great job with you. So pass my love to her and thank you again.
Thanks, brother.
Damage coming out soon by
Action.
Mick Condon.